it's Ariel from Seattle Coffee Gear, and today we are going to be touching on a little bit more coffee science, extraction and brew temperature. Now, extraction is how you coax the flavors out of the coffee, and brew temperature has a direct influence on how quickly those flavors get extracted from your coffee. So we're going to kind of talk about the different brew methods and which type of extraction they qualify as. So there are two types of coffee extraction. You have immersion and you have percolation. Immersion would be brew methods like this French press we have, cold brew, Turkish coffee, even coffee cupping. So what immersion is you've got your grounds fully mixed in with your water, and it just kind of sits there and steeps for a set amount of time. With a French press, it's usually going to be 4 minutes. With cold brew, it's typically anywhere between 12 to 24 hours. With immersion, that's going to be all of your pour over methods, Chemex, V60, Kalita, as well as drip and, technically speaking, espresso. And what immersion is you're basically getting hit with a fresh supply of water every single time. So this is actually going to be a faster extraction method because the water is fresh every time, so you get more dissolved solids in this. So it usually takes anywhere between, I would say, 3 to 6 minutes, depending on your brew method here. This will take anywhere between 4 minutes all the way up to 24 hours, depending on your brew method here. So this has been steeping for almost 4 minutes now, and this guy is done. So this is a V60 pour over, and we're just going to kind of highlight those differences. Now you'll notice that with percolation, you have like a paper filter typically. So what that does is it also catches those oils, and it's going to leave you with a coffee that has a much lighter body and mouthfeel. So with this particular extraction method, you can see that a lot of light passes through it, and that's because those coffee oils got trapped in the coffee filter. So it's got almost a tea-like body. Okay, it's been 4 minutes on this guy. So with French press, you want to be really careful because there's like a little gasket in here, and you want to just press it down very gently, especially if you have really fresh coffee that's gassy, because otherwise it'll kind of bubble up. So just bear with me. And this is the exact same coffee. It is Brandywine's Rainier Blend. Right, so you can see just how different they look. So this is actually super cloudy, and that's because there's a lot of oils in there, and because it doesn't have a paper filter, you also do actually get some coffee grounds in there. They're the really, really fine ones. So I'll just hold these up for contrast. You can see how different they look. This one almost looks like tea, and this has almost like a thick sort of look. So these are, you know, visually with these two extraction methods, they're both very different looking, and they're going to taste different as well. So this one has a very sort of clean, soft mouthfeel. I feel like with percolation or pour over, it's more refined, it's a bit softer and a bit gentler. And then here, as you can see, it's pretty oily. And it has almost, it's hard to describe. You get like, it feels thick in your mouth. So this one is definitely more tea-like. This would be if you kind of want to get everything at once, this would be the brew method that you would use, would be immersion. Now, these were brewed at the same temperature. So the ideal brew temperature, according to the SCA, which is the Specialty Coffee Association, is 195 to 205. And now that is if you're brewing hot. If you're going to be making cold brew, then you want room temperature water. So basically, the hotter the temperature, the faster you're going to extract the flavors in your coffee. Now anything below the 195 range is going to be too cool. Anything above 205 is going to be too hot. So if it's too cool, it's only going to extract the acidic flavors because those are what get coaxed out the fastest. If you were brewing it too hot, it's going to coax out everything way too fast, and then you're going to get hit with the bitter flavors in the coffee, which is actually the caffeine, but you don't necessarily want too much of that because it's also going to be pretty unpleasant when you drink it. So what you're looking for when you're extracting coffee is balance of flavor and consistency. So, you know, yeah, the caffeine buzz is great, but you don't want to drink a bitter cup. And you also don't want a super sour, cooler cup because that's just gross. Now, there actually was a study done where if everything else is consistent, like if you have the perfect grind size and everything there, then the temperature doesn't matter so much. But outside of a scientific setting, the temperature is the thing that you can most easily control. So it is important to actually have the right equipment. So you want to make sure that you have, you know, a gooseneck kettle or a thermometer, and these things are going to help you better control your extraction. As far as extraction methods go, it's entirely up to your personal preference which one you decide to go with. If you prefer a fuller body where you kind of get hit with all of those flavor notes at once, or if you're at a coffee cupping, then it's always going to be an immersion brew. If you prefer something a little bit softer that has a lighter mouthfeel, where you can kind of, you know, take your time and taste those notes a little bit more individually, then then percolation, like pour over, is going to be the best way to go. But again, this is all very, very personal. It's all about your own personal preference at the end of the day. Anyway, I hope you find this video helpful in choosing your brew methods. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, leave a comment below, and we'll see you next time.